Hello. I'm standing here to propose a great opportunity to seek our own true colors without any judgment, so that we can color this society bright. My name is Amy Watanabe, and I'm currently studying social linguistics at Yokohama City University. This is today's agenda, and let me start with today's objectives. One main objective would be make a workshop program for a younger generation about LGBT community in Japan. And I also put two sub-objectives below that, and that will be raise the awarenesses about LGBT community and knowledge among young generation in Japan. And let Japanese students think and learn about how to respect each other and learn self-worth. So, let's get right onto it. First of all, what is LGBT? LGBT stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. And it says that almost 8% of Japanese population is defined themselves as LGBT. And that is same amount with people who are left-handed in Japan. So we can't just ignore them, can we? But sadly, 2/3 of young LGBT people have experienced bullying at school. And more sadly, 1 in 5 have experienced physical attack and/or sexual harassment as well. This graphic shows sexual orientation laws in all over the world. And the bluer the country is, they have laws, they have protections, they have understanding towards LGBT community. The redder the country is, they have fewer laws, or some countries doesn't have even any laws to protect LGBT. Then let's take a look at Japan for a second. According to Dentsu's research that they did, they asked, have you ever heard of the word LGBT? And in 2017, almost 40% of them says yes. And in 2018, almost 70% of them says yes. So the number itself is increasing, and that's an amazing thing. But when the same exact question was asked to middle schoolers and high schoolers, the result was pretty shocking. Only 20%. Only 20% of them says yes. So this raises an issue here in Japan. The issue would be the recognition about LGBT community is increasing. Yes, that's amazing. But however, the recognition among young generation is still low. Acceptance, support, and understanding towards LGBT community is not enough. And Japan is many steps behind the world. So we know what issues are here in Japan. So let's talk about the target. My target would be younger generation who currently enrolled in schools in Japan. But I would like to set a spotlight on second graders and middle school. As in target insights, they are in final transition period to be an independent adult. And they are trying to discover how to live in the society by themselves. And they are still mentally unstable. When MEXT took a survey to middle schoolers and high schoolers, many of them have experienced thinking that they are useless to live a life. But even though they are mentally unstable and they may think they are useless to live a life, after they actually learn what LGBT is and what human diversity is, 90% of the students thought that learning about LGBT community is not only about others, but also about myself. So I truly believe there's a potential to then become really amazing human being that can understand others and respect others. Now, let's talk about my campaign. This is my campaign calendar. And my campaign or project would be a year-long project. And I really want this project to be a part of school project so that will be a mandatory education, and they will have equal chances, equal opportunity to learn. And I divide it into 2 phases. Phases 1, classes. Phases 2, workshops. Let me explain one by one. First, classes. Those classes will be classroom lectures. And I've also put a theme, what we should know about LGBT, and how important to know about yourself. And I put 2 pillars, lectures about LGBT and lectures about mental health. What I'm showing you here right now is one example syllabus that I came up with for these lectures. What they will learn is how important and how they can actually learn and understand about LGBT people and how diversity it is, and also general information and facts about LGBT, of course, and mental health. But why mental health? As I already said, my target is mentally unstable. So I want them to understand who they are first than anything else. By knowing who they are, that will definitely help them to understand others and respect others as purely as they are. Next up, phase 2, workshop number 1. Again, the theme, know who you are. It sounds cheesy, and it sounds like Disney princess story theme, but this is really important. Again, 2 pillars, who am I, and know the importance of self. I would call these workshops self-discovery workshops. And those workshops will be in some kind of art form. So it could be dancing, singing, acting, writing, or even sports. I want them to have fun first, and I want them to seek their true colors, who they are. I want them to know and discover who they are first, so that will actually drive students to learn and accept and understand others purely as they are. So that will be no judgment, no exams, but yes, respect, yes, embracing each other, and yes, applause. Finally, phase 2, workshop number 2. Again, the theme would be what we can actually do to make a better Japan for everyone. Again, 2 pillars. See the world from different point of view, and what we can do. Finally, they'll get to engage with LGBT people. They'll be divided into small groups, and they will have a mentor throughout those workshops. And that mentor, of course, that will be LGBT people. And students will be asked to make a presentation, or a play, or some other art form to express and output what they have learned throughout this whole year program. Or they could also make a presentation or play by what kind of society they want to create in the future. And those presentations will be a wrap-up for this whole year program. I truly believe in the possibilities of youth in Japan. And this program can educate so many youth so that we can create better Japan and better world for sure. If we can educate them right, our future, our Japan's future, and the world's future will be filled with hope and possibilities. Let them find their true colors. And I really hope you will hop on this journey with me and find your true colors as well. Thank you.
I think it was very courageous of you to pick this very challenging topic. LGBT is a very confronting concept.
Yes.
And you were very concrete enough in your presentation how to manage and organize the workshop.
Thank you very much.
But if you are confronted with different opinions,
Yes.
how do you intend to lead the discussion to get them understand or raise the awareness? I was interested in that aspect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for your question. And it is true that some people doesn't believe in those LGBT concepts. But at the same time, I want to make this, as I said, I want to make this workshop as a mandatory education and be a part of school program. So that will help them at least see the world from different point of view. So I don't force them to believe in those LGBT concepts or, I don't know, like human diversity. But I want them to just let them start seeing from other point of view and not just believing one thing, but seeing things from other perspectives will be work and effective for them. So I will be saying that, I guess.
I thought I would like to immediately copy your curriculum and apply to our people in the same office.
Thank you. That is my honor.
And I have a question. Like
Yes.
you said, there are about 8% of
Yes.
LGBT people in
Yes.
every society. So if you organize a workshop, there would be about 8% of LGBT students might be included.
Yes, of course.
And usually their problem is to coming out. They are
Yes.
very afraid of coming out. So
Yes.
how do you ensure during your workshop that these LGBT students feel comfortable and be well accepted by the group?
Great.
I know there is a second stage where you will invite the LGBT mentor,
Yes.
but these mentors, I suppose they are not the students themselves, right?
Yes, they're not.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So I'd like to know. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So as I said in Phase 2 workshop number 1, they will be a part where they can seek their true colors, so they can know who they are. And some of the students might realize that they are LGBT community, one part of the LGBT community. And as I said, there will be no judgment, no exams, or no competitions, but yes, respect, yes, understanding, and yes, applause. So even though I don't force them to come out in front of everyone, but I will definitely have a mentor who can actually lean on so that they will have a comfortable environment or comfortable, I would say, like kind of like where they can actually rely or talk to somebody. So they will be some kind of therapist or someone who can actually support those people as well. So they can, I think we can provide them a safe environment for them as well. Thank you.
But I have a question about the practicality of that program, because you mentioned that students can discover who they are while like doing activities like dancing or singing. But I'm not really sure how people can discover their sexual identity while dancing, because I'm not really. Yeah. So could you explain that?
Great. Thank you for your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
So the reason why I said I want them to seek their true colors, is that it's not like I want them to discover whether they're LGBT or not. So that is not a main point of this workshops. So what I really want them to realize or know is that what kind of person who they are. So it's not about gender or it's not about sexuality, but it's more of like, oh, okay, I like this workshop, so I might be doing this in the future, or I don't like this, or I don't really understand this, so I want to learn more about this. So it's, as I said, it's not about gender or sexuality, but it's more of like personality fade.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You said they're going to learn about the LGBT, but the LGBTQ or LGBTQ plus exists as well.
Yes.
And then there are more details, and then I think their concept makes the students understand their sexual identity more. But why did you choose LGBT, not LGBTQ or LGBTQ+?
So actually, I actually include those as well. So LGBTQIA+, of course. So, but it will be pretty hard to understand, or it will be a bit complicated to explain everything. So I just put LGBT as a group name. Hope
Thank
that
you.
answered. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I'm really interested in this LGBT. And before I start my question, let me just make it clear that I am really for LGBT. So I researched about LGBT and found that I think it was University of Toronto or something like that, where they researched about, especially transgender people.
Yes.
And they found that, like, when we try to involve ourselves with the younger people, like high schoolers or something like that, when we try to interfere between their sexual individuality, it complicates the issue more, and they begin to get confused, and they go for, being transgender or something like that. And ultimately, they regret the decision. More than 70% of the transgender people have regretted their decision. So do you think it is a good idea to really interfere between their sexual individuality at that critical age?
Okay, thank you for your question. So I want to clear this up. So that Toronto University's research said when they actually learned about LGBT people, they became LGBT people?
No, not exactly. When they conducted, like these kinds of programs where you,
Yes.
try to make them clear, like what kind of gender they really want to be. It only complicates the thing, the things more.
So like that made them more confused
and you're not quite
they
sure whether
regret
they're
learning
male or
it.
female.
Okay, I see. So, well, the reason why I really want to teach those kids about LGBT and human diversity in general is that there is not one way to see the world. So I don't want to make them confused, for sure, of course. But just normally, Japanese people, not all of us, not all Japanese people, but many Japanese people trying to see this thing from one perspective, tend to be one perspective. So I just want them to have an opportunity to see things from other point of view. So hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ms. Watanabe, for a powerful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。